Let them misunderstand you. Let them question your choices. Let them invent a version of you that never existed. Your peace disappears the moment you make their approval your responsibility. Think about how much of your life has been spent inside an invisible courtroom explaining your motives to people who had already chosen their verdict. You replay the conversation. You rewrite the message. You imagine the perfect sentence that would finally make them see you correctly. But while you are arguing with their opinion, your actual life remains unattended. The Stoics understood this trap. Epictetus placed reputation outside our control. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Rome, still had to remind himself that another person's judgment could not determine his character. Their lesson was severe and freeing. You do not need to control the story people tell about you. You need to control the person their story cannot change. Here are 7 rules for doing exactly that. First, separate your character from your reputation. Character is what you choose when no one is watching. Reputation is what other people conclude, often from fragments, rumors, moods, and their own fears. These two things sometimes meet, but they are never identical. Epictetus begins his handbook by dividing life into what belongs to us and what does not. Our judgments, choices, aims, and actions belong to us. Reputation does not. This does not mean reputation has no practical effect. A false accusation can cost an opportunity. A careless rumor can damage trust. Stoicism does not ask you to pretend consequences are imaginary. It asks you to locate your authority precisely. You can clarify facts, you can keep records, you can correct an error once, you can act with consistency. If correction affects safety, contracts, or work, make it with evidence and a clear record. You cannot enter another person's mind and force a favorable conclusion. The moment you confuse reputation with character, every stranger becomes your judge. Every raised eyebrow feels like a sentence. Return to the smaller territory that is truly yours. Ask, was I honest? Was I just? Did I act with courage and restraint? If the answer is no, repair your conduct. If the answer is yes, stop begging the crowd to certify it. A clean conscience is quieter than applause, but it is far more stable. Second, leave the imaginary trial. Most judgment does not hurt only once. The mind rebuilds the scene and conducts a second trial in private. You become the accused, the lawyer, the witness, and the hostile audience. You prepare answers to questions nobody is asking. You defend yourself against conversations that may never happen. This is where a passing comment becomes an entire evening of suffering. The Stoic discipline begins by naming the event without decoration. Someone disagreed with you. A message went unanswered. A colleague described your decision unfairly. Those are events. Then the mind adds its verdict. They think I am weak. Everyone will believe them. I must correct this immediately. Those are judgments. Pause before treating them as facts. Ask what you actually know, what you are assuming, and what useful action exists now. Perhaps one calm correction is needed. Perhaps a private conversation is wise. Perhaps no response is useful. Set a limit. One review, one decision, then physically change rooms and resume your day. The goal is not silence at any price. The goal is deliberate action instead of compulsive defense. An imaginary courtroom can never acquit you because it is built from your own fear. Walk out. Return to the room you are standing in, the task in front of you, and the person you have decided to become. Third, let your conduct outlive the moment. Explanations are immediate. Character is cumulative. When people misjudge you, the temptation is to produce a perfect speech. But trust is rarely rebuilt by one brilliant defense. It is built by the pattern that follows. If someone calls you unreliable, arguing for an hour will matter less than becoming unmistakably reliable for the next month. If they call you selfish, a dramatic declaration will matter less than quiet acts of fairness no audience can deny. Marcus Aurelius wrote his reminders to himself while surrounded by politics, war, illness, and constant scrutiny. He could not prevent every rumor in Rome. He could keep returning to justice, truth, patience, and duty. This is a slower answer, but it has weight. Do not perform goodness to manipulate opinion. That keeps you dependent on the same audience. Act well because the action is yours. Consistency also protects you from becoming the accusation while trying to defeat it. Let time reveal the pattern where words cannot. Some people will revise their judgment, some will not. Your standard remains the same. When urgency rises, ask, what action would still look honorable after the emotion is past? Do that. The calm repetition of good conduct eventually becomes stronger than the noise of a single moment. Fourth, use criticism as an audit, not as a verdict. Stoicism does not teach you to become deaf to correction. A person who ignores every criticism protects the ego, not the mind. When someone judges you, separate the delivery from the information. Their tone may be cruel while one part of the message is true. Their intention may be hostile while the evidence still deserves examination. Ask 3 questions. Is there a specific behavior being described? Is there evidence I can verify? Is there a correction within my control? If the answer is yes, take the lesson without accepting the humiliation. You are allowed to learn from an enemy. Write the useful point in neutral language. This removes the sting and preserves the lesson. If the criticism is vague, impossible to test, or aimed only at your identity, place it down. Words such as always, never, worthless, and impossible often reveal emotion rather than useful information. The Stoic does not swallow every opinion and does not reject every uncomfortable sentence. He examines it. Keep what improves your conduct. Discard what only poisons attention. This transforms criticism from a weapon into raw material. The other person may have wanted to injure you. You can still leave with greater clarity, and when there is nothing useful in the judgment, you lose nothing by refusing to carry it. Fifth, explain once, then stop. Endless explanation usually feels responsible, but often it is fear wearing the clothes of reason. You believe one more paragraph will remove every doubt. Then one objection produces another explanation and another, until your dignity is tied to the other person's willingness to understand. Give the truth a fair chance. Speak clearly. State your intention, the relevant facts, and any boundary that matters. Avoid exaggeration. Avoid attacking their motives, then stop. A boundary can be one sentence. I have clarified my position, and I will not continue. Silence after clarity is not defeat. It is the refusal to turn your life into a permanent defense. Some people misunderstand because the situation is genuinely unclear. Good communication can solve that. Others misunderstand because your explanation threatens the story they prefer. More words will only provide more material for the argument. Learn to notice the difference. A useful explanation creates greater precision. A compulsive explanation chases emotional permission. Before replying again, ask, am I adding new information or am I asking them to approve my identity? If no new information exists, return to your actions. You are not required to attend every argument to which you have been invited. Sixth, practice being misunderstood in small situations. Freedom from opinion is trained like physical strength. If you always correct every minor impression, the smallest disapproval will control you. Begin with low stakes. Let someone dislike your harmless preference. Allow a message to remain concise instead of decorating it with apologies. Say no without inventing a dramatic excuse. Wear something simple without checking whether it impressed anyone. Share an honest opinion without monitoring every face in the room. Then observe the discomfort without obeying it. Your body may tighten. Your mind may produce warnings. They will think you are rude, strange, difficult, or selfish. Do not fight the feeling. Let it rise and pass while you remain courteous and steady. The exercise works because you remain respectful while releasing the need to look agreeable. This is not permission to become careless. Review your behavior afterward. If you were unjust, repair it. If you were merely disliked, endure it. Each small repetition teaches the nervous system that disapproval is uncomfortable but survivable. Over time, you stop treating every misunderstanding like an emergency. You gain the ability to choose truth over performance and boundaries over temporary approval. That ability is quiet, but it changes every relationship you enter. Seventh, return to your duty. Attention is the real price of reputation anxiety. Every hour spent managing an imagined audience is an hour removed from your work, your health, your family, your craft, or your principles. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly returned himself to the next necessary action. He did not need to solve his entire life before beginning the task in front of him. You can do the same. When you catch yourself replaying another person's judgment, name one duty that deserves your attention now. Finish the page, make the call, prepare the meal, keep the promise, take the walk. Apologize where an apology is owed. Protect the boundary where a boundary is needed. Concrete duty interrupts abstract self-defense. Duty gives the mind somewhere solid to stand when reputation feels unstable. It also rebuilds self-respect because you become someone who can act while being misunderstood. This is the deepest form of independence. You do not wait for the room to agree before living according to your values. Your life moves again. The judgment may remain, but it no longer occupies the throne. Let people have their unfinished picture of you. You have work to complete. For the next 7 days, notice every moment you feel compelled to manage another person's opinion. Pause. Separate character from reputation. Leave the imaginary trial. Let conduct outlive the moment. Audit criticism for useful truth. Explain once, then stop. Practice small misunderstandings, return to duty. Some people will eventually understand you, others will keep the wrong story because it serves them, let them. Your task is not to become impossible to criticize. Your task is to become difficult to control through criticism. A peaceful life does not require universal approval. It requires a standard you can obey when approval disappears. Let the next useful action become your answer. The crowd may change its verdict tomorrow. Your character is being written by what you choose today.